should I wear a different hat?
No, you're the boss. Well, you are the boss.
I know, but color-wise is what I was.
No, I think we're all right color-wise. I think we're on.
Okay.
I am privileged to be with Dr. Donald Sanders, DVS, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, DVM, excuse me.
Yeah, DVM.
And you are a theriogenologist.
A board-certified theriogenologist.
Theriogenologist. There. So he changed it slow enough so that I can actually pronounce it.
Yeah.
Because I'm challenged.
Theriogenology refers to animal reproduction.
Okay. And you have been your own, well, I will say you are legendary in Ohio. You've been recognized by the Ohio Farmers Hall of Fame.
Yes, that's true.
As a leader in Agriculture Hall of Fame.
Ohio Agriculture Hall of Fame.
Yep. And that was last summer, 2 summers ago.
2 summers.
2 summers ago. Yeah. And you've had your own veterinary practice. You were a professor at the Ohio State University.
That was after I'd already accomplished a number of things.
Yep. You've written 94 scientific papers.
Yes.
Published 11 books.
Yes.
And today we're gonna go from one of your books called Doc Sanders Goes Whole Hog, and this is for this is specifically targeted. This is the last 4 are specifically targeted towards towards those who are just getting into the business, who want to raise a few hogs,
right,
and 4-H kids and FFA kids.
That's true.
Yep. So we covered all the aspects in this book. Oh, this one has a table of contents. The space required, the types of breeds of pig, what to look for in a pig, traits on a pig, how to go about purchasing, what to expect when you get them, management tips, planning your nutritional program, health and medical conditions, and parasites, diseases, and about breeding is what we're going to talk today.
Okay.
Okay. Breeding and quality swine and welfare management, and meeting the standards. And then we're going to wrap up with how to show your pig.
Right.
Okay. So this video will be on YouTube at Infinitum, along with the first 3 parts. And this is the 4th part. Now, next week, we're going to be talking about raising steers.
Okay.
And we're going to shoehorn. We've got a tentative visit to go out and visit with a young man who has chickens. We just need to settle on a date. He's just getting started in school. So, and his chickens are still molting. So,
you better define that term molting for our audience. That means that they are shedding old feathers and growing new ones, and it's kind of a rejuvenation process for poultry, hens. And when they go through this, they may cease laying totally, or maybe occasionally. And within a month or so, they've grown new feathers, and they start in laying eggs every day again.
Yep. Well, I'm looking forward to them laying eggs again because I like their eggs. Yes. And their duck eggs. So I don't think he has any ostriches. Have you ever eaten an ostrich egg?
No.
No, neither have I. I'm not sure I want to.
Well, and they're about that big.
That would be more than one meal for one sitting. Although I know some folks that eat 6 or 7 eggs at a sitting. So anyways, okay. All we wanted to know about breeding sows. So right. What is all we wanted to know about breeding sows?
Well, it's in the book for starters, and there's more details than we're going to be able to cover. If this is a commercial type of breeding situation, which means that and it's a small operation, that means they've got sows, or the females, and a boar together, and it generally takes about 1 boar per 6 sows, because you're trying to get them synchronized to get pregnant all at the same time, and that way they farrow or birth their pigs at the same time, and it results in cohesiveness of having one size group of pigs that are fed the same and managed the same and likely will go to market at nearly the same time.
You're gonna have to explain it to the stupid, because I've never raised pigs. So you guys are unlucky in getting somebody like me who doesn't even know the right questions to ask.
When I was a teenager, my father had a dairy herd and a swine operation, and my mother had a poultry flock. So I've been through a bunch of different things like that. And the thing is, I was doing a lot of the swine stuff that needed done. And so the thing is, as I said, one boar per 6 sows, unless you're able to contact one of the sire organizations and purchase boar sperm to inseminate a sow. And there's a process that's involved with doing that. And it's in the book about all the things that are involved. And to give you an idea, what's different about bulls and boars and this sort of thing, a bull may produce 1 milliliter, 1 cc of sperm, maybe 2 max of sperm, and it'll be concentrated enough to get a pregnancy and maybe even breed another cow or two. Now, in the swine
cows,
world,
okay,
yeah, that was cows.
Yep.
In the swine world, a boar will ejaculate a pint of sperm.
Wow.
A pint. And generally when they breed a sow, it's not wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's, you allow them to mate, to get up, and the boar penetrates, and he'll be on top of the sow, mounted on top of the sow for maybe 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh my.
So he'll be at it a while. Now, and so you need to be aware of some things like that. Now, because of the volume that, in essence, the semen, the boar sperm, is projected towards the cervix, and so that helps breeding. Now, on the other hand, if you're using artificial insemination, and you can buy fresh semen from boar studs around you, you go out in like Iowa.
That was going to be a question I had, is that I'm reasonably familiar with artificial insemination within the dairy industry.
Yeah.
And steers and what have you, but not.
Well, this is a new world for you.
Okay.
And so, and the thing of it is, they do not use very much frozen semen because it's a little bit tough on the sperm, and you're not going to get as many eggs fertilized with frozen semen as you will with fresh chilled semen. And typically semen, if it's a huge operation, they'll have boars around that they're going to collect and do artificial insemination. If it's a small operation, you locate a firm that will sell the sperm to you, and they ship it overnight to you, chilled. You put it in the refrigerator, and it's generally good for about a week. And it depends a little bit on the boar as far as how long, that it'll last. And so the thing is, so you got a sow in heat. You detect that by swollen vulva and willingness to, when, like if you're around her and you push on her back near her rear end, she'll stand still in kind of an erect position, her ears up, and grunting tentatively, peacefully, and will stand stock still. And the idea is that's for the boar to be able to mount on her. But if you're doing it artificially, you put them in a crate just for this few minutes so that they can't wiggle around. And we have catheters that are about that long that we thread through the vagina into the cervix. And then we take this pint of sperm, connect it to the catheter, and you generally have some kind of device clamped on their back so that you can that sperm will stay there with the bottle upside down flowing into the sow until it all gets in. And it allows you, if you got 4 or 5 of those devices, that while one sow is sucking in the semen, you can get the next sow started and down the line, so you could very quickly breed a half a dozen sows off of one major ejaculation.
Is that the predominant technique within the industry now?
It is.
Okay. I figured it would because of the predictability and the data set, so that you understand the predictability and reliability of the situation and the time frame, and then of course having the boar and the sow and what have you. But it's a smaller organization operation, maybe that doesn't make sense.
A small operation
because of the cost.
You're right, and so the semen is shipped to them, the sperm is shipped to them, and as I said, you refrigerate it. It's good in the refrigerator for generally a week.
And then you can kind of get things in sequence for the 2.5 liters per year that you can have.
Right.
That he's talked about earlier. That's
right.
I have no expertise other than what he's shared with me here in the last 3 things. And I meant to take this book with me and read it because I'm sorry. Everything backwards here. So I meant to take this book so I can read it, so I have some understanding of what this excellent gentleman is talking about. Okay.
Also, while you got it there, if you purchase this book, I have a DVD in the back that gives you all kinds of tips about showing a pig and about different things, facts that are useful as far as feeding them and many different things like that.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit or move forward. Okay, so you've talked. Oh, you've got all kinds of diagrams in there on how all of this works. Wow.
And how you can even, for instance, if you want all boar pigs, you can order sperm that'll give you 95% boars.
Now, will they give you? I know in dairy cows, in cows, you can get all males, right?
Right.
All
you can
females,
here too.
right? And then you can get different quality of the breed, right?
Depending on what price you're willing to pay.
Okay, so you got to pay to play, right?
Yeah, right. And so the book has a number of anatomical sketches for you to be able to understand where the semen has to go, and some understanding later on about when a sow farrows and the pigs being delivered and that sort of thing. And it's all in this book.
Okay. All right. So, well, the next step is you've got your sow pregnant.
Yes.
And it takes.
And you use ultrasound to diagnose the pregnancy. You can do that at 30 days.
Is that something that the vet needs to do, or is that something that they can do? Depends on the operation, right?
It depends on the operation, and quite honestly, most operations have their own ultrasound to do that, and it's not as elaborate as the ultrasounds we use on cows or on companion animals. But there's a diagram, you hold it up to their side where it's in line with their uterus, and the ultrasound will detect what's in there and if they're pregnant or not.
Okay. What are you looking for if you were doing an ultrasound of a sow? What are you looking for?
While you're looking, you'll see the embryos in the uterine horn with fluid. And initially, they may be relatively, let me get it around here, relatively small. But as they get closer, then they begin to form, and you can tell that they're piglets.
Yeah. And you look for any abnormalities, what have you.
Well, you're not going to see much abnormalities. You're just trying to confirm they're pregnant.
Okay.
That's the key. And many of these very inexpensive ultrasound devices simply beep if they're pregnant. There's no screen to evaluate how many
read it
pigs
and beep, they're pregnant.
Yep.
We're good to go. Okay, so like I say, you to get all of this information, buy the book. The book is available at your website,
Right.
Vaca, VACA, resources.com. And it's like $29, $30, something like that.
I think this one is like 21.
21. Okay. But you'll find out on the website how much it is.
Yeah.
And get the order, and you'll turn it around that day. You do the shipping, don't you?
Yes. I normally weekdays, I ship them out the same day that I get the order.
Okay. So we've spent basically the first 14, 15 minutes talking about, the mechanics of getting pregnant. Now, how about the mechanics of where? And this is something you got to prepare for in advance, farrowing,
Right.
some sort of a farrowing facility.
Well, it's not wise to just have them in a pen and bedded with straw or whatever and count on them laying down and farrowing. They will do that. The problem is in these litters, and there's often 14, 15 pigs.
Depending on the breed,
that invariably a pig will want to get up there and snuggle up to the sow. And when she goes to lay down, she'll lay down and squash him. And so you don't want that to happen. So it's very useful to have what's called a farrowing crate. And it's a housing that you, it's pin that it has rails in it that the sow goes in the front. She can eat, drink, do whatever. And when she lays down, obviously the pigs are delivered out the back end, and they can snuggle around to a heat lamp or something like that, or a pad.
Especially in the winter.
That's warm. And when she's laying there on her side, they can find the nipple and start nursing.
Okay, so it's pretty important then. So yes. You're not losing any piglets.
Right. And so I encourage you now. People, we can't have humane issues or whatever, but this is just.
Oh, I would say it's a humane issue if the piglet gets squished.
Yeah, it's usually you have them in there for 3 to 4 weeks or 21 to 25 days, something like that. Now that's not very long for the sow, and at that point, then they can be put in a group pen. And the pigs nurse them, or leave them in there for up to 8 weeks, although I'd never like to do that, and allow them to nurse there. Or the large operations will have a feeding program for piglets that are 21 to 25 days old. And so they remove the pigs from the sow at 21 to 25 days. They have a special nutritional program. And it's a lot of milk in it and this sort of thing for these little pigs. And you put them in a pen that has heat and all this sort of thing. So the temperature is 85 degrees for them that first week and that sort of thing. And then you modify the diet as they grow. And once that early farrowing diet, then you have a weaning diet and a grower finishing diet and a finishing diet. In other words, you change these along the line. And nutritionists with feed companies can tell you that manufacturers, swine feed, can tell you, when to change diets and all that sort of thing, depending on the nutritional program they've got.
Or your veterinarian.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to stop real quick right there. I wanted to talk about your 11th book. All right. And Beyond the Barn, Dodging the Cow Patties for 50 Years as a Country Vet. And this one's one you just wrote. This is your latest book.
Yes.
And this one is available on his website at Vaca Resources, VACA resources.com for $29.95, right?
Yes, that's true.
And or you can get it on Amazon. But if you get it from his website, you'll sign it, right?
That's right. Now there is that's $29.95 plus shipping costs.
Plus shipping costs, yeah. Now I got to tell you, this is a wonderful book. It's a confirmation of everything right in this country and everything right in rural America, a community, and you tell all kinds of stories, good ones, humorous ones, sad ones, and
yes,
it will evoke your emotions. And I know one gal that I talked to lately, she said, well, a few of them I laughed until I had tears, and a couple of them I just had tears. So
right,
yeah.
So there's 67 stories in the book, and it the first section covers my family and our family life. My wife was, my late wife was a veterinarian also. And so she was very much part of all these things we were doing. My kids grew up around that kind of stuff. And there's a couple stories in there about some of the things my kids did that are hilarious.
Well, they taught their pigs on how to chase cars.
Yes. Yes. That's one of the things that happened, but you'll have to read the details to know why they did that. And the feeding programs and a sample nutritional program for pigs. And of course, this business about farrowing, how to deliver pigs and all those different kind of things. And then the DVD in the back gives some tips on how to exhibit pigs.
It's really important if you're a 4-H'er so that you can now you can watch videos on YouTube on how to do it and how other people do it. But this is information from a vet that knows it has been up and down this route. And
I actually have been a teenager showing pigs at the fair a long time ago, and did well.
Okay, so we've got our farrow-in pen, we've got our pregnant sow, and now comes time for delivery.
Yes, and basically the delivery process, she'll lay down, have some discharge, and pretty soon a pig will come. And if it's a sow rather than a gilt, they farrow faster usually than does a gilt, and they tend to be slower. But generally, they'll deliver a pig every 2 to 4 hours, and this might go on for 24 hours if it's a big litter of delivering pigs. And the sow may get tired, and the thing is, when they get down to the last pig or two, their contractions are weaker, and so that last pig may not arrive alive. And so sometimes there's ways, talk to your veterinarian, of being able to give the sow an injection that will improve her contractions. There's a number of things, and it also allows milk letdown and that sort of thing. It's called oxytocin that'll do those sorts of things. So that there's a number of things like that that's available as well.
For most pigs, though, you can expect a normal delivery. They're pretty robust animals.
They are. The nice thing about this is, and because I've relied on it myself, and that is teenagers, if they got a pig project and we need to deliver pigs, I often coach them through it and have them get down behind the sow and a sleeve on their hand and reach in and straighten the pig out and get it delivered, because teenagers have much slower hands than I do. And so it's less pressure and discomfort for the sow if you've got a young girl or boy reaching in there and doing that. And I coach them through it on what they got to do.
Well, maybe we'll get an opportunity to record that sometime this winter, since you're feeling a lot better.
Yes.
Yep. So you got to get you back exercising.
Yes.
So,
yes.
All right. Okay. So once the pigs are delivered, is there anything that you need to do? What's the next step?
You make sure they're breathing. You clear the mucus from their nose and this sort of thing. And sometimes you may need to slap the pig a little bit to get him started to breathing. The white breeds of hogs, the Chester Whites, the Landrace, and the Yorkshire, may very well have 14 to 20 pigs. So they have a big number. Now, a tip, and that this isn't a profitable tip for a money-making enterprise, but Berkshire hogs have tremendous carcass quality, which means if you have a Berkshire pig born and you've raised him to where he's weighing 270, 280 pounds, that pig probably has the best chance of winning. However, there's a downside of this, and that is Berkshire sows only generally deliver 7 or 8 pigs. Now, profit-wise, that's not near as good.
Well, if you get 14 or
yes,
more piglets.
And generally, often there's one pig that dies per litter under supervised conditions, which means maybe it wasn't delivered fast enough, or things like that happen. And And if you're right there, you can head that off. But sometimes if you've been out of the building for an hour and come back in, sometimes you can get a dead pig.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So let's see what time we got here. Oh, we got a few more minutes yet.
Another thing I might mention is when they're born, they have the umbilical cord is attached to them, and it's useful to detach that cord about an inch or two from the belly. And generally, what I would do is probably try to crush the cord so that it's not going to bleed, and then take a pair of scissors and clip the
put a piece of hemostat on it.
Yes,
crush the cord.
Right. And to give you an idea, oftentimes the cord might be 16 inches long or whatever, and obviously doesn't work well for the pig being able to walk around. So if you try to get it trimmed down to that and dip it with 7% iodine is really a good thing to do. And chlorhexidine also works, but iodine's my favorite.
Okay, and I noticed you have a list of things to have on hand before the piglets arrive.
That's right.
Yep. So, okay. Why do piglets die after they're born? Obviously, if you don't have the correct farrowing facility, the sow's going to lay on them and might kill them.
Right.
Yeah. What else do you got to be?
There's this thing called hind tit, and I've even heard you talk about getting hind tit.
Oh my.
And what it amounts to is the last teat on a sow, and generally they'll have 14 to 16 nipples, and that last teat nipple, that part of the gland doesn't secrete near as much milk as the ones forward of that
up front.
And so those pigs on that last teat may very well starve, but you can head some of that off by going to Tractor Supply or someplace like that, or a veterinary supply, and purchase a can or bag of powdered sow's milk and reconstitute it in warm water and feed these pigs a time or two during the day to supplement what they're getting from the sow.
So that you're economically viable.
Yes. And one of my favorite stories is to talk about the client he was a high school teacher, and he had started a swine operation, knew nothing about swine. And so I'd given him the book and did that sort of thing. And and I told him the trick about, having a milk replacer that you can mix the milk up and give them an ounce or two warm milk a couple times a day. And so he was really about that sort of thing. And every morning and night, he generally had 4 or 5 pigs that he would nurse on this nipple bottle. And it was a Pepsi bottle is what he had. And he had the nipple on the end of it, and these pigs would nurse. And it got so that when he come in the barn, those particular pigs were all up to the corner looking for where he's at.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know whether he raised them or sold them or what have you.
He raised them.
Yeah.
He raised them up to 250, 265 pounds.
What are the prices on for pigs today? Is it economically viable for a small operation, or?
It is. Now there's been some real changes in pricing recently, and they're not
talking specifically for like homesteaders who might have 10 or 15 hogs,
right? And the thing
of
it
small
is,
farrowing operation.
There's times it's very lucrative, and there's time that's borderline. Right now it's a little bit borderline, but if you're a homesteader doing it and you're going to raise them to 275 pounds and then present them to a shop to process them and that sort of thing, and you're going to sell the meat yourself, you'll be fine. But if you're a commercial
direct retail, and then there's some rules you got to follow with that.
Well, if you go to a custom butcher shop, they will follow all that and give you the meat back frozen.
And the processing cost is generally pretty reasonable.
Yes, maybe not as reasonable as when I was a young boy, but it was.
Well, a $20 bill would have probably handled the whole thing.
Yeah, at that time it would have.
Yeah.
So
that was it back in the 50s, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, a couple of years back.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's things like
back
that.
Back when they had big fins on their cars.
Yes.
And even on the pickup trucks. The Studebaker, well, was it which one had the fin? I can't remember. Oh, it wasn't really a station. It wasn't really a pickup truck. It was the Ford. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the thing of it is, as a homesteader, if you're doing this, you can kind of set your own prices and be careful about how you do it and do your own promotions. And then lastly is if you can raise them on woven wire where the feces and urine drops through the wire floor and they can walk around on it. That's a way of keeping your hogs really clean, and deworming is no longer an issue, and things like that. And that works really well. And there's even in the front of my book is a couple sketches on how to build that.
Well, and hopefully we're going to go visit farrowing operation. One of our local providers is direct to market,
right?
And he raises hogs. I don't know how many he has, but I'm guessing he's got a few.
Yes.
And I don't know if he's still doing his operation out at his dad's place or what.
But
he's got a retail operation, so that we're going to go.
It is
we'll
on
go
his
visit
dad's
all
place, but his dad's passed on, so I think it's his.
Yeah. His mom's been gone for a while. She was a wonderful cook. Man, it was great to go. It was great to go to potlucks at the church because even Mrs. Newton and then Miss Runyon was like, "Oh, what'd they bring? Let's go check out what they bring."
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. We talked about cord clipping and okay. How about castration?
Somebody needs to demonstrate and help you learn to do that, and it's something that hog operators do routinely. And it's best if you can do that when they're like 3 to 5 days old, when they don't have much pain, their nervous system is well developed, and you use a pair of side cutters to do that. And I have some diagrams about doing that, and a pair of side cutters, and you hold the pig with your thumb, pushing the testicles up into the scrotum. Clip a little incision about 3/8 of an inch long over both sides, force the testicle out and strip it out. And if you're doing it on lambs, there's a thing called Western style, and that
we're gonna do that one again when we're out. That video was well received. I believe that video has had tens of thousands of views so far.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was looking at that the other. Matter of fact, I had people still commenting on that. Like, is that a real thing? Is that what? I'm like, yep, that's a real thing.
And
Lou Taylor did that.
Right.
That was Lou Taylor, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell the punchline and all that, but tell you a little more. In the summer when he was in college, he and another.
We're going over here a little bit.
Okay. He and a friend.
We'll save that story for the next time.
Okay.
All right. So this book, Doc Sanders Goes Whole Hog, right from his website, vacaresources.com.
And the DVD in the back.
DVD to tell the 4-H and the FFA folks on how to show their animals.
That's right.
And how to train for showing their animals.
That's right.
And then Doc Lave's book, which is a book of stories, Beyond the Barn, Dodging the Cow Patch for 50 years as a country vet.
Yeah.
And it's available on Amazon and your website also, vacaresources.com. And you'll sign it.
If it's on my website, I'll sign it.
Yep. Okay. And that $29.95 for that book, if plus shipping.
Yeah.
Not the uninclusive of shipping. Well, that's it for today. We finished up our part 4 on hogs. Right. Going whole hog, and kind of an introduction, and hopefully not this week yet, but next week we're going to be back out visiting with people and farms and what have you, and then going through their operations. Now we may not be live, but we'll record the video And if it depends on whether we have good
Logistics.
reception and what the lighting looks like and what have
And
you.
the logistics of the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yep. Or we may go out and do a video beforehand and then get an application that costs a lot of money, $800. And then we can show it and talk about it during our live broadcast. We'll see how that works. So anyway, you guys go out and buy a book. And Ruby, you approve, right? Yeah, Ruby's down here. Ruby's
the
boxer.
dog.
Yep. Okay. Well, we'll see everybody on Friday at 5. And you guys have a great time. Bye now.
Absolutely.